Hey there, my name is Pravus and welcome to Brotato. This is an action roguelike shoot 'em up where you play as a potato with numerous guns. Why a potato? I don't know. Probably because a potato is supposed to be easy to draw, though even then I will admit this looks more like an egg. It's Humpty Dumpty with a gun. Actually, I'm convinced the developers heard the name Brotato and thought it was hilarious and decided to build an entire game centered around that premise. But you know, they did so very successfully because this is one of those arcade-style roguelites where you don't feel like you're committing too much time between every run, yet it has enough replayability that it draws you in again and again and again. For only $4 on Steam, this game has overwhelmingly positive reviews, which is why I want to jump into it today and we can show off what this game has to offer. Let's go ahead and start up with a well-rounded character, though as you can see, there are a lot of different characters that you can unlock, and every one of them plays a little bit different and encourages different weapons and stat build-ups, etc. So you can play this game again and again and again and again, and it really doesn't ever get old. The well-rounded character is the default. Starts with a little bit of extra HP, some movement speed, and some harvesting range. I'm going to go ahead and start off with some shotguns. Shotguns are going to serve us very well with this particular character type. So now we move around, and I just try to not get hit by enemies while I automatically target the nearest one and blow them away with my shotgun, like so. Gather up the green stuff in order to get some experience and also resources that we will be able to use to upgrade later on. Now, of course, the downside with the shotgun is we don't have tremendously good damage, and I am, of course, very short range, but that's fine. When you complete a wave, which only lasts for, a handful of time, you're going to be able to level up and choose some upgrades. So, for example, do we want some extra range, luck, harvesting, or engineering? I'm going to actually choose a little bit of luck. And then you get to choose where you want to spend your money to get some upgrades. Now, sometimes you can buy some more guns. Other times, you get special abilities or some stat changes. There's a lot of different ways to do your character, and every time you reroll, it's going to have a different assortment. I would like to go ahead and buy, for example, another double-barreled shotgun. Then I'll do a quick reroll and get another double-barreled shotgun. Wait, you're holding 3 shotguns? Oh, absolutely I am. Look at my potato go! I got myself 3 shotguns! Nothing's gonna stand before me in the early game, I'll tell you what. Look, the way I see it, if Wolfenstein is allowed to carry around 2 giant assault rifles, he's allowed to carry around 3 shotguns, okay? This is a telekinetic potato. Stop asking too many questions, just embrace it and go with it. Every once in a while, you do find yourself some extra items. For example, an ugly tooth. Hitting an enemy reduces their speed, which actually could be very good against certain elites. I'll go ahead and take this thing. You could recycle it if you want. I'm going to take some extra attack speed. I think the faster we fire off of the shotguns, the better. Another shotgun, don't mind if I do. Now, you might be asking, why are you getting the same type of weapon again and again? Well, it's because we will be able to combine these weapons and make them more powerful. Also, having a lot of the same types of weapons, whether that be, let's say, guns in the forms of pistols and shotguns, or maybe unarmed weapons, or primitive weapons, or melee weapons, etc., you do tend to get some nice bonuses if they are all of the same type. If you look over on the right, for example, with the double-barreled shotgun, you see because I have 4 of the gun category, I get an extra 30 range. Get all the way up to 6, and I get 50 range. That's pretty good. So with the power of 4 shotguns and some extra range, we actually are shredding through these enemies pretty well. Now, what is the goal? Well, the goal is to survive as long as you can. There are a finite number of waves, and of course, the enemies do get progressively more and more difficult and more numerous as you go. So you can't just, sit around and just think that everything is going to be hunky-dory. It's going to be getting more and more difficult as time goes on. Eventually, there are bosses. Beat the bosses, beat all of this, and you can say, hey, cool, I finished with this character, and I can increase the difficulty and do it again, if you so desire. I think I'm going to take a little bit of max HP. I can see that being useful. And let's go ahead and choose attack speed plus 10% right here. You can see there is a rarity, by the way, to some of these free upgrades we can pick up. Some of them are extremely powerful. Let's get a 5th shotgun. Yes, I know, it's completely a 6th shotgun. There we go. All right. So now, if we find more shotguns, I actually do want to keep them because now's a good time to start combining weapons. But the sooner you can get up to a full 6, the better. Now, I will admit, playing around with 6 shotguns right now, this is considered to be somewhat of a meta strategy. The first time you pick this up, odds are pretty good. You're just going to choose whatever guns suit your fancy. You're not going to have any idea what works well together. And it's going to be very satisfying having all these different types of guns going off all at different rates. It's fun. It is. But I'm the type of person who does ultimately end up min-maxing my characters as time goes on. Let's see, does any of this look especially useful? No, let's go for a reroll. Hey, an already upgraded double-barrel shotgun. I'm going to lock this so that I'll be able to buy it later, though I don't have any slots for it. If I combine, we will be able to free up 1 slot. You know what? Yeah, this is good. Let's go ahead and click on this. Combine it with one of my other guns, so now it's the same thing, but it does more damage. And I can go ahead and buy this, and now we have 2 upgraded shotguns. And I can do this all the way up until I get to a legendary quality. I actually will buy a butterfly for a little bit of lifesteal. I don't have any real health regen at this stage of the game, but at some point I would like to be able to heal myself, so a little bit of vampirism could be very good for me. Notice, by the way, that my character is changing appearance as we buy all these items. In that way, it actually is a little bit like, let's say, the Binding of Isaac, where your character does seem to change appearance as you pick stuff up. It's not necessary for the game, it just looks fun, you know, a little bit of aesthetic flair. Now, as you're moving around the map, the strategy I like to employ at the beginning of a round is to go ahead and just move around the outside. Encourage all the enemies to start clustering up in the middle. And then when you get toward the end of it, run through the middle, because in theory, that's where a lot of the experience should have congregated, so you can get all the materials, at least as much as possible. Okay, now we're starting to face some larger enemies, some of these elite guys. They do like to charge at you, and some enemies actually will try to shoot at you, so at some point the game does evolve into a little bit of a bullet hell. Should always be moving, always watching your positioning. Oh, wow. Lots of different upgrades here, okay. I do think at some point getting a lot of max HP is very helpful. Having some HP regeneration is nice, but as you get further along in the game, some of these enemies are going to be able to do a ton of damage for every time they hit you, and if you don't have enough max HP, it doesn't matter how quickly you regenerate because you're already dead. Let's pick that up. I'm looking for one more of these already upgraded rare quality double shotguns, but if not that, then this will have to do. So let's go ahead and combine here. That gets me to a better version, get this, and then if I can get another shotgun, I'll happily, there it is actually. Let's go ahead and combine these, grab this, boom. All right, and we're just gonna keep doing this to try and upgrade my weapons. Oh, we are absolutely shredding through a lot of these enemies, though. Yeah, the more these small guys they send after me, the better. I can definitely kill these guys with my piercing damage pretty darn effectively. Shotgun, very, very stronga here. Oh, wow, a clover. Lose my lifesteal. That would suck. I do hate to lose my lifesteal, but 20 extra luck and 6 dodge to increase my odds of just not taking damage outright. This is pretty darn good. Oh, wow, okay. 12 extra HP. That's a no-brainer. I'll take that. I'll even take the bandana so we pierce through more enemies. Yes, we lose a lot of damage, but I think that overall we are going to gain a lot more out of that. The enemies are starting to cluster up a lot more, though. We're starting to run into a problem where I've got a lot of enemies. The piercing is going to make it a little bit easier to stay on top of this and get some breathing room, but yeah. This is around the point where the game starts to get a little bit harder, and if you haven't picked up some decent items and some good weapons, you're probably dead about now. Beautiful. Another shotgun that I can grab. Let's go ahead and buy you. I'll be able to combine some more. Lose some of that dodge, but get extra HP. Could be worthwhile, I think. Yeah, we'll do that. Oh, this I'm definitely going to be taking. We can go for another combination here, then buy you. All right, now I'm up to 4 of these. Can start upgrading even these up here if we want to, but at this point I'm just trying to steadily increase more and more of my damage. Okay, we're running into some enemies now that are stronger and can survive several barrages of my shotguns, all 6 of them. Yeah, that's starting to look a little bit scarier. How are we going to handle ourselves against the boss if we make it that far? No idea. Now, the fact that I can just stand still like this right now, as long as big ranged charging enemies don't come after me, and I'm able to just continue withstanding this, that's a very good sign. Whoop, don't want to stand still for that, though. All right, maybe our damage is starting to get it where it needs to be. I'm not sure, but we're getting somewhere. Oh, this is an interesting item. 5% extra damage every 5 seconds until the end of the wave. We start with terrible damage, but the longer the wave goes on, the stronger we become. I can see that becoming very, very good later on. Let's go ahead and take that, and I'll even take the missile for an extra 10% damage. Yeah, we lose some attack speed, but overall, I think we come out ahead. Okay, so case in point, we have survived well past our 20 seconds to get back up to our maximum damage. Now, we're just stacking up more and more power, which means we are even chunking through these elites pretty darn quickly. This is good. This is very good. Upgrade one of these shotguns up to the maximum value. Pick up another one of those. Okay, so now I only want to be buying some of these elite legendary versions of shotguns. Maybe we find those, maybe we do not. So what else can we get that's really going to make a difference at this point? It's getting harder and harder to find items that I can afford. We're not gaining as much resources at this stage of the game because the enemies are so much stronger, it's taking longer to kill them. Either that or I'm just getting less and less effective at actually collecting all this stuff. Elemental damage? Nah, not something useful. We can go ahead and recycle this and get a little bit of extra goodies. Burning? Don't have any of that. Let's go ahead and recycle that too. Oh, fortuitous. All right, so we got ourselves another one of these. Let's go ahead and combine here. Pick that one up. Boom. All right, that's looking solid. Tyler, what is this? A little guy that slowly shoots piercing lightning projectiles around him. That sounds like fun, but not what I'm looking for. I'll take instead the regeneration potion. My HP regeneration kind of sucks. But to be honest, even then, if I get up to 4, whenever I'm below 50% health, it'll double up to 8 HP regeneration. So basically, this helps me stay alive. We could really start using some defensive items at this point, because I think our damage is starting to look pretty darn good. If I can't find ways of surviving against the bigger enemies, though, that's a problem. Dodge is a personal favorite of mine. Armor would be good. Max HP, I'll take any of those. Some of these weapons are looking pretty fun, but I wouldn't be able to get them. A rocket launcher, heavy, explosive? Heck yes, that sounds great. For certain characters, I could see that being amazing. Extra damage against bosses and elites. You know, I was saying I want to go for more defense, but this actually seems extremely useful. And actually, Sad Tomato works well here. I start waves with half HP, but I should be able to regenerate it very, very rapidly thanks to my regeneration potion. Yeah, this kind of works. Actually, here's a strategy I hadn't even thought about before. If you can afford to stand in a corner like this and have them all come to you, this should make it very easy to gather up a load of materials. Just gotta dodge the bullet hell whenever they're on their way. This is a bit of a risky play here. Jetpack, extra speed, and dodge chance, lose some HP and armor. Yeah, but that could be really good. All right, go into wave 20. Here we go. This is the boss. He's a big boy. Big Cthulhu-looking, ow! Big Cthulhu-looking monster. This is where having the extra speed is helpful, because you can see he's just dropping stuff on the floor. Just be very careful about where you step here, all right? Don't feel like you just want to start moving and charging randomly. If you do that, you're gonna die. Watch the red circles. Trust that your DPS is going to be good enough to deal with some of the big elites that are on their way and trying to charge at you. You've got to trust your build at this point. If you just go running all over the place, you'll die. And there we go. We win with the well-rounded guy. Yes, on the easiest difficulty level, I know. But there you go. And now you're tempted to go ahead and jump into it again, because that only took about 20 minutes. So what's next? New characters unlocked. I got the lumberjack. I got one-armed. I got a fisherman. All cool. Let's actually just go ahead and play with the brawler. Unarmed weapons are what we want for this particular type of character. So I got 2 giant fists, and we're just gonna punch everything that gets in sight. Now, obviously, this changes what kind of stats you may want to pick up. For example, it's more important that we get things like melee damage, forget the range damage, and we also don't really care about the range stat in general. Lots of armor and stuff, that would be much more valuable. Or, you know, dodge chance, that also works really well. And before you're wondering, by the way, no, this is not a character's feet over in the top left, it's just a palm, all right? We're punching and palm striking, which is basically to say we're just smacking him in the face. Oh, melee damage. There we go. See, that's exactly the sort of thing that I am looking for. Let's combine a couple of hands and fists and stuff, get some extra damage that away. Is this as flashy as having the guns? No, not at all. I actually really miss having things like my submachine guns. Those are pretty fun. But what I'm trying to show you is that there's a tremendous amount of variation in how you'll be playing this game, right? And there's a lot of characters. I don't remember exactly the number, but it's somewhere on the order of like 30 or 40. Quite a lot, not to mention there are like 5 different difficulty levels you can play with every character. And of course, with the amount of randomization that we're getting, every run ends up being a little bit different. And at those higher difficulty levels, you actually start seeing new types of enemies appear that you wouldn't have seen before. So that's another way of adding extra variation and difficulty into the game. Of course, with this character, the only way that we're going to survive for very long, especially in the late waves, is by maxing out our dodge chance. So we don't get hit in the first place. That means I can move into our enemies with some impunity, and I'm at least rolling the odds that I should be able to survive being so close to this many mobs. Armor will take me the rest of the way, max HP, etc. So we really need to focus on some good defensive stats. There are other cool, really characters out there, though. Some rely entirely on, let's say, precision weapons. I mean, like shurikens and knives and stuff like that. Others are all about placing down turrets on the ground. You really want to have as many engineering feats as possible, and that's how you end up taking down your enemies. Now, this is an interesting item. Lifesteal, and I get extra damage for every 1% lifesteal I have, but I take damage per second. If I'm not actively fighting, then I'm going to start slowly dying. That is a very interesting item. I'm gonna take it for the heck of it. Well, that might have been a mistake, actually. I'm taking quite a lot of damage here. It does, oh, nope, and I'm dead. Okay, nope, that should not have done that. Should not have done that. Interesting idea for an item, but did not work. Oh well, that's fine though. Would have been counteracted if I had a lot more HP regeneration. If I had done that, maybe we would have been in good shape, but oh well. You get some idea of what this is like, though, and actually, I think I've unlocked a couple new characters. Ghost and the Wildling. Ooh, how fun. So, guys, that is a look at Brotato. It's a really fun arcade-style game. You just jump into it, you play it for a good 20-30 minutes, you think, oh, cool, I could try this again with a totally different run, go for submachines, go for explosives, go for ethereal, whatever it's going to be, and just enjoy the variety of the game. And again, for only $4 on Steam, to me, this game is a no-brainer. Absolutely worth the good reviews it is receiving. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If so, then I would ask that you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell. And I will see you guys next time.